Today is April 28th, and we observe the National Day of Mourning. Across communities, people are gathering to pay tribute to fallen and injured workers and their families. Again, this year, we gather separately online, but as with every April 28th, we mourn together and commit to protecting workers. During this worldwide pandemic, we are sharing so much loss with so many. During this extended time of COVID-19, we are acutely concerned for healthcare workers on the front lines and the first responders who are in harm's way every day due to frontline danger and relentless trauma. We share the anxiety of families and workers doing essential work who cannot stay home. As each day goes by, we recognize more and more the divide in our society between those who have protections, choices, and safety, and those who do not. Many of those workers are deemed essential but are essentially unprotected, and we all have a responsibility to keep them safe. We think of the essential workers in retail, transit, warehouses, and congregate care, frontline service workers, nurses, and public sector workers who face increasingly unsafe workplaces, who deserve resources and protection to do their jobs safely. All workers need proper protective equipment, health and safety training, and mental health supports. They need to know their rights when it comes to refusing unsafe work, receiving training, and working in safe and inspected workplaces. Leaders should not be allowed to call anyone a hero that they will not defend or keep safe. Workplaces must be safe places, and when we see outbreaks and risks, we have to keep workers safe and give them the chance, a paid chance, to stay home and stay safe. Unimaginably, for some workers and loved ones, families and children, the risks of going to work where the virus is able to spread and workers are not protected has meant death, loss, illness, and trauma. And last year on April 28th, we were still reeling from the horrifying loss and suffering across the long-term care sector. Now we look at the terrifying threats to health, safety, and life at large workplaces where workers are getting sick, and now they or their loved ones are dying. The human cost of COVID is immeasurable and unbearable. In Ontario alone, nearly 8,000 loved ones have lost their lives to COVID-19. Our community extends its sincere condolences to those who have lost their loved ones across the community. Workers need protections and fair compensation. Our system of WSIB is broken, adds insult to injury, and is not supporting injured or ill workers. Workers' comp is a right. However, workers and families are being devastated both by COVID-19 and the system which fails them. We all need to support NDP Bill 191, which is legislation for presumptive coverage for essential workers who get COVID. Workers who get sick should have access to benefits that allow them to stay home, rest, and recover without going hungry or facing eviction. We tried to pass paid sick days with NDP Bill 239, the Stay at Home If You Are Sick Act. It was defeated. And the NDP have tried almost every day since to secure permanent paid sick days for all workers who shouldn't have to make impossible choices. If they are sick or need to isolate, workers should not have to lose their pay and maybe lose the roof over their heads or the ability to feed their families. It is sickening to see the government's resistance to keeping people well and keeping workplaces safe. I stand firmly with workers and our communities who deserve permanent paid sick days and paid time off for vaccination. Essential workers, at-risk communities, and disproportionately affected communities need to be protected by having equitable and accessible access to vaccines. They should be free to leave work to get immunized. This should not be a debate. I appreciate and support the work of so many community health advocates across the province. I wish it wasn't so hard to keep people safe in Ontario. The National Day of Mourning is for every worker, every community member who sets out for work and has the right to come home safely. We will remember the dead, but must continue to diligently fight for the living. Even during this extremely challenging time of COVID-19, we believe that every workplace illness, injury, and death is a preventable one. It is my honor to speak on this National Day of Mourning, and as the MPP for Oshawa, it is my privilege to represent this community and all of its workers. I thank you for all that you do.